Call the meeting to order, please. Shelley, can you do roll call?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. District 1, Councilman Rios.
Here.
District 2, Councilman Pastor.
Present.
District 3, Councilman Leatham.
Present.
District 4, Vice Mayor Stapleton.
Here.
District 5, Councilman Gonzalez.
Here.
District 6, Councilman Shipley is excused. We do have a quorum, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Shelley. Okay, now, Shelley, can you do the invocation
Thank
for me,
you.
please?
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you.
Please pray with me. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this time, Lord. We are so grateful for all of your blessings of protection as we serve this community. We ask for wisdom and courage when making decisions that affect the residents of the city of Globe. We ask that you continue to guide and encourage the council as they seek opportunities that make a positive impact on our community. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Thank you, Shelley. Freddie, can you lead us in the pledge?
Yes, Mr. Vice Mayor. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We did roll call. That's when you said here. Okay, next on the agenda is a summary of current events. And Mariano, we'll start with you.
I have nothing to report, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Nothing, okay,
Nothing, sir.
thank you. Freddie?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. You're gonna see here in a few minutes, some of my colleagues from Arizona Water Company are gonna be here to present, a water conservation theme program. And I'm happy that they're here. Thank you for being here, Luca and Amelia. I think I talked about this in our last council meeting. I just brought it up, but the brand name is called From the Ground Up. And you'll see in the presentation. It's in conjunction with the city of Globe, the town of Miami, the town of Winkleman, and Arizona Water Company. It's a live interaction, social media interaction regarding water conservation. I think you're going to enjoy it. There's opportunities for people to actually engage and talk about their stories of water conservation and how everybody can learn from that. So thank you again for being here. Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Freddie. Mike?
Mr. Mayor, I was going to wish Mr. Vice Mayor,
That's
I was
okay.
going to wish our mayor welcome him to the 70 Club, but obviously he's not here tonight, so we'll catch him later. And I really don't have anything else to
No?
to address.
Okay, thank you, Mike. I just have a few things. First of all, I want to remind everybody that next Thursday is the State of the City address by Mayor Gamaros. It's going to be right out front at 6 o'clock, right, Melissa? 5 o'clock, I'm sorry. So make sure you can attend that. It's a good time. Food, music, drinks. And then, excuse me. Secondly, I want to remind too everybody that tomorrow, Wednesday, is the Coffee with the Mayor at Copper City's Coffee over on the highway. That's at 1 o'clock, and that's a good time to speak openly. He'll be there, I'll be there. Sometimes Mike's there. It's a good time, about an hour and a half. If you have any concerns or whatever, it's always a good time to bring something up. And then I did get a text from the mayor, and he received an email from ADOT, and he wanted me to share it. It states, I don't have the email, but he said it states that ADOT has met a milestone on the US 60 Queen Creek Bridge. They have reached the halfway mark on the project. So, yay.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Only 2 more years.
Is that all?
And then lastly, a good friend of mine and everybody here passed away April 7th, I believe. Councilman Larry Alderman, sorry. Larry Alderman passed away last week. So he was a member of our group for years and just a good guy. He was a mentor of mine. I've been up here for over 12 years and he coached me and everything when I started. So
Nice.
I'd like to do a moment of silence for Larry if everybody doesn't mind. Thank you. That's all I have. Paul?
And Mr. Vice Mayor, Councilman Leatham?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Jesse. Do you have any?
I don't have anything to report. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So, Vice Mayor, members of council, again, the state of the city, very important. We're excited about that. We do have a dump day coming up, or dump days, April 17th, 18th, and 19th, called Spring Cleaning Event, free dumpsters. So the drop-off locations, the dog park at 520 East Cupright, the main staging area, so metal appliances, tires, furniture, electronics, batteries, green waste, but no refrigerators. We don't do refrigerators, it's a free-on thing. So, and then we have at 339 South Broad Street behind the teepee, debris only there, Ash and Mesquite City parking lot, and then 621 5th Street, again, debris only. If you have the creative stuff, take that to the dog park. So that's real important. It's something we like to do. It gives a chance people to, get that and just, tidy up a little bit. So we enjoy that. We do not have any flood recovery events on the agenda, but that does not mean we are not knee deep in working on a bunch of stuff. We're still actively working with our partners, federal, state, county, Miami, to move forward on that. So the efforts still continue. That's really good. The last thing on Councilman Alderman, I do believe that we are going to be putting together, not the city, but the community, some sort of celebration of life event in the near future. Not sure when that is. I have not heard of any of the details on everything, but if anybody wants to reach out to me, I can share that information. I know Councilman Shipley is very involved also with planning this. So, and that's, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Paul.
Okay.
Okay, next on the agenda is our first community call to the public. You can pick up a card in the back if you would like to speak to us. We can't answer you, but now's the time to do it. And you take the card over to Shelley and she'll bring it up to me. So far, I only have one card, right?
Community call, just one card, Mr.
And
Vice Mayor.
this is from Pam Troball. If you'd like to come up to the podium, Pam. State your name and your address.
Good evening, council members, Vice Mayor. I appreciate you letting me talk tonight. My name is Pam Troba. I live on Railroad Court in Globe. I'm here to inquire about plans for the old Globe Head Start building on Murphy Street. This building has sat empty since 2019, and it's well past time to put it to good use. I am aware of 2 separate times the city has been approached regarding the use of this building. I know one individual that was working with the late Carolyn Harrow of First Things First 2 or 3 years ago to try and open a child care, but had to give up when they could not get a response from city staff. I also know another resident that inquired about this building in 2021 to be used for 4-H programming, but also received limited responses. Fast forward with me to 2025. Veronica Gossett of First Things First began working with a company that is, once again, interested in opening a child care center in our area. Since August or earlier, Veronica has been in contact with city staff to create a request for proposal so this building might be used for that childcare. However, after getting the runaround and limited responses once again, in early September, I was asked to come along as a consultant to help get this project moving. I emailed and I came and spoke to city staff in person. I left voicemails, many of them, asking for updates. I finally attended a coffee with the mayor event to ask for help. I have emailed and talked to Mayor Gamero several times, and I really do appreciate his responses. However, he was the only one who responded to tell me this topic has been discussed in executive sessions and that I should hear something definitive soon. That was over a month ago. I have made phone calls and asked for updates by email since then and did not receive any responses. Now fast forward one more time to last night. As I was drafting what I would say to you all this evening, I put up a simple post on my personal Facebook page that basically said I was frustrated and it was time to speak up. Right away this morning, I received a nice email and a phone call from Melissa Steele letting me know that the request for proposal draft has been sent to legal and is being vetted, and I absolutely appreciated that follow-up phone call this morning. So now that I know where we are in the process, I'm here asking why in the world I wasted over 6 months of my time and energy with phone calls and emails when all I needed to do was make a post on Facebook. Someone could have enlightened me sooner and I would have started with that. Why could no one simply reply to an email and let me know what was happening? I can't help but wonder what happened 2 years ago when the city was contacted about using the building for childcare. Why did no one respond then? What happened in 2021 when 4-H asked about using the building and heard crickets in response? This building could have been used to support families for the past several years. If only someone had put a Facebook post up, maybe they would have gotten a reply. I have been told repeatedly that this is a huge problem when dealing with city staff. Citizens get the runaround if they get a response at all. This is so very unprofessional, and I know I'm not alone when I say this needs to change. I understand why this topic specifically had to be discussed in executive sessions, and I know the wheels of government move like molasses. I believe I've been polite and patient as I have repeatedly asked for updates, but enough is enough, and I'm now here demanding answers, and I want you to know I'm not going to go away like the others did. I'll leave with this. This is a little bit more positive. So, as you know, childcare is desperately needed in this area. At the last council meeting, you made a proclamation recognizing this week as Week of the Young Child. I encourage everyone to go to the Cobra Valley Center for the Arts, where there is a children's art show honoring the late Carolyn Haro and her legacy. It is a beautiful sight in memory of a beautiful soul. I am happy to know that this project may actually get the chance to see the light of day, and I believe Carolyn would be excited to see this as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam.
And Mr. Vice Mayor, just a reminder to the crowd that on call of the public, we are not able to respond to anything stated, but we usually reach out to those persons, and we have already
I was
this
saying
morning.
Melissa did reach out.
Right,
Good.
so,
Thank you for that, Melissa.
but yeah, legally, we cannot respond.
Okay. Next on the agenda is special presentations and ceremonial matters, presentations, proclamations, awards, guest introductions, and announcements. A, council will receive an update from Gila Community College. Janice Lawhorn.
Vice Mayor Stapleton, my name is Dr. Janice Lawhorn. I don't believe I've had the opportunity to meet you in person, so I'm thrilled to be here this evening.
Thank you.
Councilman Rios, I think you've received several emails from me over the last couple years as the college has been working towards our accreditation. Councilman Gonzalez, very nice to see you again. Councilman Pastor, as well as Jesse. Hi, Jesse. I know you're out there in in that land, okay? So again, my name is Dr. Janice Lawhorn. I am the president of Gila Community College. I have been working tirelessly to get to the position that we are, and I thought it would be relevant for me to provide an update to the council. Okay, I'm gonna try it, Shelley. Ready? Oh, okay. So a couple things I'm gonna talk about just as to what we've been doing to get to our independence. So in 2019, there was a change in the accreditation process, which allowed us to choose a different accreditor. Up until then, the Higher Learning Commission was our only option. Well, when they changed this, the Council on Higher Education and the U.S. Department of Education said that regional accreditors no longer exist. You can go with any accreditor that will take you. And so we had been working with the Higher Learning Commission for the last couple years. I started as the interim president in 2022, fall of 2022. And in working with HLC, it was a conflict of interest with our previous educational partner because they were a member and we were not. And so we weren't getting where we needed to be. And so in 2022, we had 2024, we had contacted ACCJC, which is the Accrediting Commission for Community and Junior Colleges, which is connected to the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. The Western Association accredits the University of Arizona. Okay, so Higher Learning Commission, not the only game in town since 2019, but it did take some time for those other institutions to determine if they wanted to take any other institutions. So ACCJC opened their doors up. We are the first institution from Arizona to be part of ACCJC. So we submitted our eligibility application in May of 24, our institutional self-evaluation report. In August of 24, they came out in October of 2024 for a site visit, and then we were awarded candidacy status in January 2025. When we received candidacy status, they said, okay, you got a couple things that you got to do. And so we're like, okay, what do we need to do? Just tell us and we will continue to move forward. We had 2 compliance requirements for initial accreditation and 1 recommendation, and here comes the train, okay? All right, is that right on time? 6:30? Okay, and 1 recommendation to improve institutional effectiveness. So, one of the compliance requirements were that we need to establish our institution set standards. All right, so you can see that there's the things that we had to do. See that big check mark? That's like, okay, did that. When they came in October of 2023, 24, they said, you don't have any students, you don't have any faculty, you don't have any staff. You need to get all that in order, and that's what we've been working on the last couple years. Okay, the other thing they said is you need to implement and operationalize your governmental structure, your governance structure, so get everything set up, hire everybody. We pulled over about 150 employees from Eastern Arizona College that were already working at Gila Community College, both in Payson and in Globe. We had about 98% of our faculty and staff come over with us. And so we are, if you look at that chart right there, we are at the very last item on the road to full initial accreditation. And I always ask, well, what's next? What's next? Okay, no. Full initial accreditation will mean that it is the first time, as in initial, that we have been accredited. And so we are hoping to be on the June 3 to 5 ACCJC Commission agenda to be granted full initial accreditation. We have done everything that we said we did or needed to do to get this far. The site visit, when they came on March 30th, they said, oh, you got faculty, you got staff. They talked to all of our people. They put a report together. We're just waiting for the final report to come from ACCJC. I've already seen the draft, and then be on the agenda for June 3 to 5. At that point, Gila County will never need another educational partner. The community college will operate independently, just like every other community college in the state of Arizona. And so we have been operating since July 1st of last year when we ended our contract with Eastern Arizona College. When we received candidacy status is akin to being pregnant, okay? You either are pregnant or you're not, okay? Candidacy status, you have accreditation or you don't. And so under candidacy status, we were able to begin operating on July 1st. And so you can see some of the things that we've done over the last year. Just last week, we had a University of Arizona Global Campus Partnership signing ceremony so that our students could transfer to the U of A Global Campus with a seamless transfer. Some of the things that we've done in the last year is admit and register over 2,000 students. Last semester, and again, we're talking about the Payson campus, the Globe campus, the Globe Miami Regional Training Center, and the Hayden Fitness Center, about 1,500 students a semester. So I believe we had 1,540 last semester. We have 1,520 students this semester. Some of the other things that we've done has submit our financial aid application. I don't know if any of you are aware of what's going on with the U.S. Department of Education, but it's in a little bit of turmoil. And so we have, as of March 30th, we have been assigned an actual individual to help us. We've already submitted our application, so they're just going to help us get to that next stage. When we submitted our application in January, they had told us it was 6 to 9 months before we could begin awarding financial aid. And so we knew that. And I will tell you that that Pinal Mountain Foundation here in this area, Aspire Foundation, and Friends of Rim Country up in the northern part have been extremely generous. People have come out of the woodwork to provide scholarships for students. And so this year we've operated without any financial aid for our students, and we're getting through it. Okay, a couple other things going on. We're going to have a Payson, we'll have at the STEM Fest up in Payson. They've never had one before, just like you guys had the one here last weekend. So one of the things that we did get when, again, because we are now a community college in the state of Arizona operating independently, we got $64,000 in Arizona Community College Promise Funds. This is a state legislature thing that was passed that provided funds to our students. We wouldn't have had that, we'd have never got those kind of funds from before. Okay, we also got a Community Investment Fund grant of $75,000 for a fixed plant maintenance program that we're continuing to work on with Freeport-McMoran and some of the individuals that work up there as we get ready for the fall. We've got a grant up at the northern campus that is building an observatory, okay, and we've submitted a couple additional grants as well. So, fixed plant maintenance, the other thing we are doing is electrical fundamentals program right now. We've kicked off a pilot program with the Arizona Department of Corrections here in Globe to offer an electrical program. And this is not only the first of its kind in the state of Arizona, it may be the first of its kind in the entire country. And so if you think about a prison program, generally you have a faculty member that will go into the prison every day and teach to those inmates and then come out. We have worked with the prison, and I said doing a pilot right now, where the inmates, there are 17 inmates that are coming out that all have been cleared with gate passes, and they are coming out to the Regional Training Center 4 days a week to be trained in electrical. And so that is pretty awesome. We've expanded some healthcare programs as well. We are hoping to offer some courses. In fact, the contract was in my inbox today for Madera Peak. We're hoping to bring some opportunities for those individuals at the senior living area to take some classes as well. Same thing with Payson Care Center, and I know there's been some conversation with Alexis regarding is there a location where we can bring some classes to this end of town, specifically to Miami. Okay, I'm going to switch gears for just a minute. I'm going to talk about the expenditure limitation and what's going on with the college. So the college gets funding based on what they call FTSE, and that's full-time student equivalency. You'll hear it as FTSE, you'll hear it as FTE, but we're all talking about the same thing. And what is that exactly? It's so that colleges, universities across the country can compare apples to apples. So if I say I have 1,500 students, that really doesn't tell you what kind of enrollment I have, because I could have 1,500 students each taking one 3-credit class, okay? If I have 1,500 students, you know, again, you've got some part-time, you've got some full-time students, and so it becomes a combination of what they call a full-time student equivalency. One FTSE, or one FTE, is considered 30 student credit hours. Now, 30 student credit hours can be any combination. I can have 10 students, each taking 3 credits over the course of a semester, or over the course of a year, and get one FTE. I can have one student taking 15 credits this semester and the same student taking another 15, and it becomes that one FTE. So that's how the college receives funding from the state of Arizona. And I say the college receives funding. We have received limited funding because we were a provisional district in the state of Arizona. Approximately $150,000 a year, and I'm going to go over a little bit of where the finances come from that support the college. But you can see that our highest FTSE was in 2010, and that had to do with what was going on in the economy. People were losing their jobs, and the recession was going on. And so when people get a little fidgety and they're getting laid off, whatever it comes, and they're like, I'm going to go back to college, I'm going to retrain, I'm going to do something else. And so the FTSE goes up. And then you can see the FTSE kind of tapered off. And if you look in 2019, 2020, and you look at the drop in FTSE there, another thing happened called COVID, right? Okay, and then students started staying home. Students realized they had lots of other options to take online courses. In 2022, our previous institutional partner determined that they were going to claim all of the FTSE for all students in Gila County that were taking online courses as well. We had at one time over almost 600 students in Gila County taking online courses. And at that time, previous educational partner determined that they were going to claim that FTSE for them. And so when we started having these conversations, it was already unilaterally decided that they would claim the FTSE for online courses in Gila County. And I said, okay, wait a minute. I've got an instructor, makes $50,000 a year. Half of their load, or even 2/3 of their load, is they're teaching online courses. So they're teaching online courses to generate FTSE for another institution, but not for us. I said, that's not going to work for us. Okay. At that time, there was some contract things, and that's, many of you remember, and that's when many of you started getting emails from Janice that said, hey, this is what we're doing, this is why we're splitting, and this is our path to accreditation, because we could not operate without all of the FTSE that was due Gila County. So as you can see, our primary revenue sources are, of course, come from the property taxes that the Gila County residents pay, which is about 66%. I saw another one for this last year. It's about 70% of the revenue for Gila Community College. We have some state assistance. We're hoping to get some additional state assistance over the next year. And the other thing too, when I worked for the previous educational partner before, one of the things that I had asked to do, I was the senior dean over the Gila County campuses, and I said, can I write a grant, for a community investment fund grant for Gila County, for Gila Community College specifically? And at first they told me no, and then they're like, okay, you go ahead and do it, because we are not going to use our resources to write a grant for Gila County. So I wrote a grant, Community Investment Fund, and that's when we first received $150,000. Now, it had to be a matching grant, but that money came from Freeport-McMoRan. And so we dumped in about almost $400,000 into our regional training center here in Miami to upgrade all of the welders, put in an HVAC program, put in all new booths, things like that. Okay, so again, we now have the opportunity to go after our own federal and state grants where we did not have that opportunity before. Okay, here's some information on this slide. If you look at the third number down, you'll see that this is our expenditure limitation. Now, this expenditure limitation is put in statute by the state of Arizona back in 1979, 1980, that says back in 1979, 1980, you were spending, is that 1.9 million dollars to run the campuses. Well, I should just say the campus, because at that time, the only campus there was the Gila Pueblo campus. That did not include operations in Payson. And they built a facility in 2000 with some additional funding from the state of Arizona. But our expenditure limitation, which means you take your footsie, you take this random number, we have no idea where they got this 905, and it comes up with a population factor. Then it creates an inflation factor, and then it goes and multiplies all of this by each other to come up with this is how much money you're allowed to spend. Okay, so a 1980 statute says, here's what you can spend. For 45 years, other than the inflation factor, there has been no changes to the formula. Okay, so talk a little bit about that. We can spend $4.56 million. Based on the footsie, and you can see the formula up there, that says what we can spend. That is nowhere near what our budget is and nowhere near what our revenues are. So the last 3 years, as we've been building the college, we have exceeded our expenditure limitation. And what the penalty is 1/3 of your operating aid. Well, I told you our operating aid's been about $150,000 a year from the state of Arizona, so we've had to pay a penalty. They've withheld our operating aid for the last, we're going into the second year, that they will withhold $50,000 from Gila County because we've exceeded our expenditure limitation. As we talk about this and we look at where we're headed, we said, okay, well, we got to build, we got to get, we have spent the last 3.5 years building the infrastructure of the college. Back in 2005, when they wrote the contract with Eastern Arizona College, it was determined that even though the statute indicated as a provisional district, all you need to do is contract for educational services, at that time, we had no accounts receivable. We had no accounts payable. We didn't have our own financial aid department. We didn't have a lot, okay? And so when they contracted with Eastern Arizona College, the contract was for everything plus 25%. So someone asked at one of the town halls we had, how do you expect to pay for a community college? And I said, the residents of Gila County have been supporting the college for the last 20 years because you passed a tax levy, okay? Well, they said, well, no. Eastern Arizona College charges us, we have a $50,000 employee plus benefits plus 25%. Every piece of equipment that we have ever purchased has been this plus 25%. We were never going to get out from under that until we made the decision. So what can we do? Raise taxes, increase footsie, cut programs, faculty, staff? Okay, raising taxes, even if we had more money and we were generating more than about $6.2, $6.4 million a year in property taxes, we're being penalized by the state of Arizona for spending that money. The goal for the Gila Community College Governing Board is to never go over $100 per $100,000. Right now we are at 9212. It's going to be 93 something, but the plan is to never go back to the members of the county and ask for a tax increase. Okay, we can operate with the funds that we have if we can get on the November ballot and change that base limit. So that $1.9 million that gives us money to spend, this is not a tax implication for Gila County residents. Getting on the ballot this November and asking to adjust the base limit just says, can I please have permission to spend the money the residents of Gila County are already giving us? Okay, no tax implications. They've run successful campaigns in 2024 in Maricopa and in Graham County. Someone said, why don't they just change this at the state? Why doesn't the state just change it? And they said, because it has to be a voter initiative. Okay? All right, so that clock is not, I don't know what time it is. Okay, I should have paid more attention. Hopefully I'm good. But my question is, do you have any questions for me? I am happy to answer. I did want to, real quick, if I could just provide an update on the Law Enforcement Training Academy program. Okay, Chief Walters, I know you're here. I was working with Chief Walters on the Law Enforcement Training Academy program in 2021, I think is when we started. And he came to us and said, can you do this law enforcement program? A couple years ago, he also said, Janice, you all need to keep working on this program, because if I can get one officer to graduate from that program and become a police officer in this area and make it a career, it will be worth it. Is that still where we are, Dale?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so with that, we had Lee Kennard working for us for a couple years on that, and now we have a guy named Ray Tarango that is working on that. I just found out today that the berm out at the firing range was damaged due to the flooding. They're getting bids on repairing that berm. I've heard one bid at $15,000 to $20,000, but I guess the flooding damage out to the firing range will not allow us to go to the state of Arizona and get Arizona Post to come out and approve our firing range. We had rebuilt that berm, got money from the City of Globe, we got money from FMI to rebuild that berm, and due to the flooding damage, we're gonna have to repair that before we can move forward. So I know that's in the works, at least conversation has recently started on that. So again, I am happy to answer any questions. It is so very nice to meet all of you in person. And again, tell you that over the last 3.5 years that I've been working with Gila County, we have done every single thing that we said we were going to do. And that is to bring Gila Community College to full initial accreditation.
Great, thank you. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I do, Mr.
Okay,
Vice Mayor.
Mariano?
So bottom line, that initiative in November is critical.
It is very critical for the college, yes.
Okay, so who were involved to vote? Just Gila County citizens?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We will be reaching out to some of our constituents to ask about writing letters for support. You saw that there was a ballot measure in Graham County and in Maricopa in 2024, where both of their initiatives passed. In 2022 or 2020, Pima Community College had the same issue where they're up against their expenditure limitation. It does not make sense for us to pay a penalty. That's an instructor. That's another program, you know, this $50,000, but the governing board president and I have had many conversations about where's the cart and where's the horse. What do we do first? Well, we can't go to the residents of Gila County and say, hey, will you look at or adjusting our base limit? And they'll be like, shouldn't you be working on accreditation? Okay, talk to us when you're done with that. And so we are there. Yes, very critical. Okay, additional questions?
Freddie?
No, I just, hearing you talk and then seeing, because I was already thinking about this as you were going through your slides, but, we at the city also have a situation called a home rule, or home rule.
Yes.
Where every 4 years we have to go to the public and ask for those same graces to spend the money that we have.
It's ridiculous.
So, I wish the best for you, and I truly hope that the residents of Gila County will pay attention to this and make a wise choice.
Councilman Rios, I appreciate your support, and I would like to say the one thing different between the community college and cities and towns and things like that is if we adjust our base limit to maybe 6.4 million, maybe to our budget, okay, we don't have to do this again. We don't have to do this again. The plan is, as Footsie grows at the college and we rebuild some of our programs that we've lost, okay, we do have a nursing program going on. We are in Block 2. We've got students in Block 1 and Block 2 out at the college right now. So we are moving forward with all of that, but it will take us some time because we do not have any third and fourth semester students in the program yet. So we have to rebuild. Councilman Rios, thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate that.
Ariana, you have
One
something?
more request, please sidebar with me before you leave tonight. I am exalted ruler now over at Globe Miami Elks, and whatever campaign fund or motions that you are making in the community, please let me know. We might be able to fit you into a presentation at Globe Miami Elks.
Thank you very much. I have been to the Chamber of Commerce last week. I've been to Rotary. I've been to Cobra Valley Institute of Technology Board as well. And so we are trying to make the rounds. If I can, and I've been emailing Al for the last couple months going, hey, I need to get on your agenda. How does this work? What do I need to do? And then my apologies. I did not know I was on the agenda last week until, I don't know, an hour before the meeting started, okay? But thank you again, and thank you for your support. We appreciate what you guys do, and Mariano, I'll be happy to visit with you after the meeting.
Please, thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice
Thank you,
President.
Janice. Appreciate it. And thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Well, you know what I'm doing.
Okay, next on the agenda is item B, National Library Week proclamation presented by me, Vice Mayor Mike Stapleton. I'm going to read the proclamation. Okay, this is National Library Week 2026 proclamation. Whereas libraries spark creativity, fuel imagination, and inspire lifelong learning, offering a space where individuals of all ages can find joy through exploration and discovery. Whereas libraries serve as vibrant community hubs, connecting people with knowledge, technology, and resources, while fostering civic engagement, critical thinking, and cultural enrichment. Whereas libraries provide free and equitable access to books, digital tools, and innovative programming, ensuring that all individuals, regardless of background, have the support they need to learn, connect, and thrive. Whereas libraries partner with schools, businesses, and organizations to maximize resources, increase efficiency, and expand access to essential services, strengthening the entire community. Whereas libraries empower job seekers, entrepreneurs, and lifelong learners by providing access to resources, training, and opportunities that support career growth and economic success. Whereas libraries nurture young minds through story times, STEAM programs, and literacy initiatives, fostering curiosity and a love of learning that lasts a lifetime. Whereas libraries protect the right to read, think, and explore without censorship, standing as champions of intellectual freedom and free expression. Whereas dedicated librarians and library workers provide welcoming spaces that inspire discovery, collaboration, and creativity for all. Whereas libraries, librarians, and library workers across the country are joining together to celebrate National Library Week under the theme, Find Your Joy. Now therefore, be it resolved that I, Mike Stapleton, Vice Mayor, City of Globe, Arizona, proclaim April 19th to the 25th, 2026 as National Library Week. During this week, I encourage all residents to visit their library, explore its resources, and celebrate all the ways that the library helps our community find joy. And then I'm gonna go ahead and give this to,
Well, Mr. Vice Mayor, our library director is not in attendance.
Right.
But, Councilman Pastor, who works very closely with the library, has agreed to accept the award on behalf of the City of Globe City Library.
Actually, Jared Torres is here, I believe, from the library, isn't he?
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes.
Oh, that makes things a lot
So
simpler.
actually,
No.
no, I'd like you to give it to him, being
I
that you work
I did not
closely with
know.
the
I just
library.
looked out and I didn't see Rael, so I'm like trying to think fast.
Jared's right there.
No one told me that one, so he's a much better
I
candidate.
just found out before the meeting, so, but I really would appreciate Mike to do this, being that he works with the
Sure.
library.
It's kind of interesting that Rael isn't here because she's always here.
Right.
No, that's Shelley, like,
And she
Shelley and I
always
are like,
leaves,
where's Rael? She's
she
always.
always leaves the information for us. And
Oh, she's at a conference. Yeah,
okay.
that makes sense, cause she's always, so, oh no, this is much better.
yeah, Rael does, and her staff works all pretty hard all the time. They have stuff going on every day of the week. Almost every evening of the week, there's something going on there, so. The only thing we need to do for our library is to make a bigger one.
There you go.
Amen.
That's one of my main things. Congratulations, okay, and thank you for being a helper with Rael.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to make a comment. Rael had well, I think you were there, Mike. They had a read to a child or children moment last month.
Dr. Seuss.
And,
Dr.
and
Seuss,
I,
yeah.
you could pick a book and read it to the children. I had an audience of one,
One?
like a 4-year-old. And I think she was just putting up with me, but she was very attentive for the whole book, a Dr. Seuss book. I forget the title. But you don't know how much you might affect a child just by doing that.
Mhm.
She had shining eyes and listened attentively and I think patiently. And I was very pleased with that moment. I'd had a busy day. I'm a member of the Elks, so they have me running all over town. And every time I drive up on Ash Street, I have this affection for the location of the library because I know there's good stuff going on there. And that day settled me down. It just calmed me right down. I got to interact one-on-one with the child.
That's cool.
That was fun. So
Good.
they're doing good things there. Don't forget to use the library.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Good. Thank you, Mariano. And thank you, Mike, for
Thank you.
presenting.
Yes.
And thank you, Jared. Appreciate it. Okay, next on the agenda is item C. This is a presentation by Arizona Water Company regarding the launch of the Integrated Demand Management Program, IDMP, called From the Ground Up, which provides water conservation resources to the communities of Globe, Miami, and Winkleman. I'm gonna call up Raluca Mihalcescu.
Oh, very close.
They wrote it for me, so.
Yeah, no, that was good.
I looked at that, I'm like, I'm gonna butcher that.
It's okay, it's not an easy one.
Thank you.
Awesome. Let me just make sure this is right. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Vice Mayor and Council, and everyone here for inviting us to speak on this. My name is Raluca. I'm the Water Conservation Administrator for Arizona Water Company. With me, I have Amelia. She's our Water Conservation Specialist. She'll be doing the real boots on the ground, day-to-day stuff for this program, so I thought it'd be a great opportunity for her to also talk about the program launch, kind of introduce herself. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. Just a quick overview. We've already introduced ourselves. We've been working really closely with Councilmember Rios, who happens to be an employee of Arizona Water Company on this program. So it's been great working alongside with him. I'm just gonna set things up. I'll talk about the strategy, our water resource strategy as a company, how we even got to this point and the priorities of the company, what's included in a demand management program. It's a mouthful of a title. So what does that even mean? The work that we've done to date, and then I'll hand it over to Amelia to talk about the launch, next steps, and what some other resources that we thought the community might appreciate learning about for the program. So Arizona Water Company, we are the second largest private utility in the state of Arizona. For those that don't know, we don't just serve in this area. We have about 24 systems across the state. This is a map that shows some of our areas. But when it comes to water conservation and the areas that we serve, a big problem kind of came up to leadership. So when you have a really diverse set of customers, they use water very differently, which means that their water conservation needs are very different. Up here in this area, or even in northern areas like Sedona or the White Mountains, the water uses are going to be very different than in central Arizona, like Apache Junction or Casa Grande, or even down south in like Bisbee, Sierra Vista. So when we have diverse customers, in order to actually have effective conservation measures, we need to take a little bit more of a tailored approach if we actually want to achieve savings. So we're also kind of having that in mind. We're also thinking about, from the regulatory perspective, what do we need to do for conservation? As a private utility, we're regulated by two main entities, the Department of Water Resources and the Corporation Commission. We're required to implement water conservation through both of these entities. But again, regionally, based on where our systems are, there were some systems that required a lot of conservation, other systems that required not as much conservation, but we just wanted it to be pretty standard. So everyone was getting equal attention, equal amount of resources. There wasn't one area that was getting more conservation because of a regulatory need than another area. So that was kind of another thing in the back of the mind of leadership. And then this is like setting the tone from how things were in 2021 when I got hired. Another thing to consider was the Department of Water Resources was growing their management plans. And the management plans are essentially in certain spots in the state where the populations are really, really high. They were going to require over the next 4 to 5 years that water utilities and water providers do more for conservation. So we kind of knew that was already on the horizon. The status quo was not going to be good enough. So it was kind of the perfect time for us to re-strategize. What are we doing for conservation? How can we do more for our communities? And how can we make sure that it's actually impactful and effective for our communities? And that's why they hired me. So this is the list of conservation efforts that the company has already had since 2013. I'm not going to go through this list. It is posted on our website if you're interested in diving into it, but these are just resources that the community has already been doing. I want to give a shout out to Freddie and his staff, his local staff. The Arizona Water Company office here implemented a lot of these things. So things like if your water bill is higher than it normally is, a customer service representative in our Miami Globe office would call our customers and do a high use notification, let people know, hey, your water use is a little higher than normal, you might have a leak, let's figure out what's going on. So shout out to Freddie's team for doing things like that. But this is part of my job, to understand what is the lay of the land, what is already happening for conservation, and what more could be built. Already started having some conversations with Connie and Melissa a few years ago about what the community is doing for conservation as well. Connie did some fabulous work, got WIFA grant to get AMI, automatic metering infrastructure, which is conservation. It does allow customers in the utility to understand like what are the water use patterns dialed in more from than just a monthly view. And then there was a workshop that was attended in tandem with Miami to see, hey, what more can we do? What are some resources that could be grown from the municipality perspective? And then since 2009, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, Amelia will talk about it a little bit more, but there has been a South Gila Water Festival that's been happening. So that's in partnership with the U of A organization within U of A called Arizona Project WET. And that's focused on educating fourth graders on the water cycle, where groundwater comes from, what can fourth graders do to conserve water, why is it important to protect the watershed. That's been an awesome effort that's been going on since 2009, and we plan on continuing that in the future. So back to Arizona Water Company, our water resource strategy is really pretty simple. It's got two parts to it. The first is to obtain and maintain a diverse water supply, essentially making sure we're not putting all of our metaphorical water resource eggs in one basket. And the second part is to promote the efficient use of those supplies. And that's what Amelia and I do. We're trying to make sure that all of our customers and us as a utility are using our water supplies as efficiently as possible. So the strategy for conservation, we have those two parts, but the overall goal for conservation, at least from my perspective, is to use it as a tool to strengthen our relationships with our communities and to achieve water savings while also meeting any regulatory requirements. Just to plug it in, my general thought on conservation is it's balancing a desired quality of life within a community with water efficiency, right? The goal is not to not use any water. We absolutely need water, but let's just make sure that we're not wasting and that we're using every drop as efficiently as possible. It's called an Integrated Demand Management Program, or IDMP, because it's integrated because we're working with you guys, right? My goal this whole time and working with Melissa and Connie and Freddie is for you guys to tell us what would be impactful. Amelia and I work at the corporate office, so there's no way that we can know how the community uses water and what the best ways to, implement conservation would be. So that's why it's integrated. It's a collaborative relationship. And it's called demand management because we really want to make sure we communicate to residents that every gallon of water that is saved, not only is it the right thing to do, right? It's obviously the right thing to do, but it's an additional gallon of water that we can keep in the groundwater for reserves, for a rainy day, and for the future. So if we're able to manage demand, that also puts less strain on Freddie's infrastructure, right? Our mains aren't experiencing as much demand. We're not having to do as much maintenance, hopefully, or like upgrades and things like that. So we're communicating conservation and taking that next step for our customers. And this title for the program also makes sure that we as a utility are, again, held as responsible. It's not just a focus on the end user. You guys need to conserve water. It's also, hey, we as a utility need to make sure that we're conserving and that we're being responsible stewards as well. Here are the benefits of the program. I've mentioned a few of them. One of the things that I want to call out is what Amelia will be talking about a little bit too is this program and this partnership will create additional channels for communication, for education, and things like that. Currently, about 90% of our customers as a utility are under a demand management program and benefit from the resources of a program. So we're really excited to get this area under one as well. So these are some of the elements included in a program. I won't go through these too tediously because I want to be mindful of time. But we do an analysis to see, okay, from the numbers, from our customers, where are the potential for savings? We create a unique brand and logo that's from the ground up. These t-shirts that we're wearing and that you guys have all gotten a t-shirt of. It's important that we have a brand that all the partners can kind of fold into. And from the resident perspective, it doesn't seem like the brand is representing one partner more than the other, right? It's kind of like an umbrella that we can all fold under. We do a public engagement program. We've launched a Facebook and a YouTube page. Through the Facebook page, once a month, we're going to be posting on, or not once a month, we pick a topic every single month, and we do 2 to 3 Facebook posts a week, educating people on that topic. Things like, how do you test for leaks at your home on your own? What are some tips on things to do for increasing efficiency indoors versus outdoors? So we select a topic, we try to make it super relevant. When it's raining, how can you harvest rainwater or try to capture that to help water your plants so you're not using potable water, things like that. We have a landing page, which is a website. It's already live. You can go online and you can see it. It explains this program in just a different way. It's got frequently asked questions, links to the YouTube page, stuff like that. A launch video. You guys might have already actually been served an ad with the launch video. It features the mayor of the community. He did a really great job. Features Freddie and myself. An implementation strategy guide. We worked with Melissa and Connie on that. Basically just describes how posting online goes and all that. And then event attendance. We attended an event, the First Friday event. Was it last week? Yes, last week. So much time has passed. And where we started talking to the community about this, giving away, swag to folks and really just trying to, in many, many different forms, let people know that this is a resource available to them. A pre-campaign survey, which is live now. You can go online. If you go to the Facebook page, it's the first post that you'll see. I encourage everyone to go out there and take it. It essentially, we're just asking, what does conservation mean to you? What are topics you'd be interested in learning about? How important do you think conservation is to your community? Print material, we've got posters we're going to be putting up around the community. I'm sure Melissa and Connie have already worked on that. And then eventually in the next few months, we'll be doing a water journey video, which describes to the community where their water comes from. We have found that if we educate people on where their water comes from, then when things happen, like some of the dicey things that were happening on the Colorado River in 2023, people, if they understand where their water comes from, then they can kind of interpret media news outlets and stuff what's going on with that in a different way if they understand where their supplies are coming from. And now, oh, no, not yet. Okay, so all the elements that I've talked about are standard elements. Every one of our program gets those, but we also will come up with customized elements, things that are unique to the community that will really fit the need. One of the customized elements that we're already doing is that water festival I talked about. And in working with Connie and Melissa, another customized element we thought would be impactful is doing adult education workshops. So finding a venue in the community and 2 to 3 times a year, bringing a specialist in to talk about specific topics, whether it's, irrigation 101, like how would you even install irrigation? Having the department come in to talk about water resources, having someone talk about the Colorado River. We can kind of tailor those topics, but focusing on educating youth and focusing on educating our adults in that one-on-one classroom kind of setting. Okay, now I will hand it over to Amelia.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, so just here, I want to show everybody the logo first on the shirts. It's not just a pretty logo. It's good for shirts and it's good for conservation. Thanks for having us here today. I'm just going to talk a little bit about what From the Ground Up means to the actual community. I've never even really been in council chambers until last week, 2 weeks ago, I was in some for the first time, so we're making big strides here. I've worked for Arizona Water Company for about a year, and this is the first time that I've been seeing a program from the beginning to the launch now, so I'm really happy to be here. Okay. So like Raluca said, this is a very collaborative partnership. So this is us, this is the town of Miami, this is the city of Globe. And then also, we just were reached out to by the town of Winkleman city clerk in the last day. So we're hoping to get the town of Winkleman looped in on this as well. But yeah, like Raluca said, we live in Phoenix. So knowing exactly what...
Freddie's taking a photo.
Knowing exactly what the community wants, we wouldn't know that. We wouldn't know what exactly the community uses. Do they use more water in a residential setting or in a more commercial setting? What does that look like? So Connie, Melissa, Alexis, Freddie, they've all been integral into getting this program off the ground. They've been helpful in developing a brand and a logo. I'm biased, but I think it's really cool. I like the name From the Ground Up because we get our water from groundwater here. Both the city and Arizona Water Company. So I think it's a really relevant title. And then like Raluca mentioned, we've developed the standard elements such as the pre-campaign survey, working together to develop the brand logo, the landing page, the Facebook page, but also some unique elements. So she mentioned that we're continuing to grow the 4th grade water festival. So this is one of the longest standing water festivals that we've participated in thus far. And then also, like she mentioned, developing adult education workshops. So we have discussed with Melissa, Connie, Alexis, and some of the topics that are pretty relevant, and we'd love to hear what you guys have to say as well. That's kind of the whole point of the landing page and the Facebook page is we want to hear what the community says. But we've decided so far that there's going to be some sort of workshops on water resources in the area to kind of lay the foundation. And then we also want to do some sort of passive and active rainwater harvesting. So getting an expert out in the area and just educating the community at some sort of, shared space. So like she said, we launched last week at the First Friday event. I had never been before, so that was really fun. We met some really engaged people. We brought a trivia wheel, so we were able to educate some people on some water resources and water conservation information. We gave away some swag, some giveaways, and that was the same day that we launched the Facebook page and the YouTube. So we've been promoting that launch video. Freddie did a really great job in that launch video. And honestly, everybody did. We launched the pre-campaign survey. So like she said, please go ahead and take that. I don't know if these slides will be made available to the...
Oh, they are available.
They are available. Okay. So yeah, please take that. And then that is the URL for the landing page. So fromthegrounduparizona.com. All right. So what's next? So because we've already launched, we're now in the maintenance phase. So what that means is we're going to be creating monthly content with partners. And so something that's just been mentioned at some of the meetings that we've had thus far is what is AMI? How does it help conserve water? Just because AMI is very relevant with the city of Globe, and also we're going to try to start implementing that in the next couple of years. Also, I know household hazardous waste was mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, but that is an example of some content that we would do. Why is it so important to dispose of your household hazardous waste responsibly so that it doesn't pollute any sort of waterways, get into the ground? We also are going to do a water journey video. So that'll probably be in Q4 of 2026. And so we'll essentially, it'll be about a 3 to 5 minute video, and it'll just tell people exactly how their water gets to them from the ground to their tap. So it'll cover every stage of the process along the way. We're going to start the workshops in Q4 of 2026 as well, or beginning of next year. And like I said earlier, those will be the rainwater harvesting or irrigation or anything like that. And then we're going to continue with the water festivals. Speaking of water festivals, so the South Gila Water Festival is the first established water festival for Arizona Water. Last year's festival had 180 students coming from 3 schools, so Globe Unified, Hayden Winkleman, and the Miami Area Unified School District. It spanned across 8 teachers, and there were 33 volunteers, and they're always looking for more. So in addition to the pre-campaign survey, if anybody wants to volunteer at one of these water festivals, Freddie would be a great resource. He's got the flyer. He would love to get that to you.
Gee, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm giving him work.
I've heard my name about 10 times
I know.
already.
But yeah, the festival, it's next month, it's May 5th, so please, if anybody's interested in volunteering, it's a great opportunity to get involved. Raluca and I will be there. I'll say your name an 11th time. Freddie will probably be there. And yeah, it's a good time, and it's a good way to teach the 4th graders. And honestly, before even getting this job, there were some things that I learned for the first time at these water festivals. So even though it's tailored towards 4th graders, it's a really great opportunity to learn more about water and responsible water management. All right. And then these are just some of the things that we've already been doing, Arizona Water Company for conservation. So we've got a toilet rebate program where customers can get up to $200 back for installing a high efficiency toilet. So that just means that it flushes no more than 1.28 gallons per flush. So you can get up to $100 for the cost of the toilet, and then an additional $100 for the installation of the toilet. And then the current funding comes from WIFA for this. It was a grant that we received a couple of years ago. So the funding for that ends next month. So we're trying to spend as much of those funds as possible before transitioning away from the WIFA funds. But it'll still be a program that's available to all Arizona Water Company customers. In addition to that, we've got a conservation kit program, and so customers can apply online, and then they'll get approved, and then they can go to their local office in Miami, and they can pick up a tote bag, and it's got those items in it. So items for indoor and outdoor conservation. So for example, it's got like a toilet tank bank. It's got a little package for irrigation. And then we also offer commercial, industrial, and institutional audits for our commercial customers. So they're free water audits, and they're, no cost to the customer. And we essentially go out there or we have a consultant that does it, and he will look for anything that uses water and thinks, how can anything here be made more efficient, or checks for leaks, anything like that. And then he provides a report at the end. So yeah, those are just some of our pre-existing programs. Does anybody have any questions?
You guys good?
I do.
Ariana?
Paul?
Oh, yes.
How do we tie in with Arizona Water Company? How can we share the load? How can we share the water resources and the programs that they are utilizing now and inject them into our own system?
No, we're going to be having conversations on conservation. Conservation's important, and we can learn from our partners locally and regionally. So we have had discussions actually today before that on some of the things that we're doing, and we'll be building off of that.
I'm really interested in this program. I really am. And I'll tell you one of the reasons why is because I have a secretary over at Globe Miami Elks, and she kept hearing water running.
Oh.
And I'd walk in, she'd say, "There it goes again," she'd say. So I finally traced it down and found it, and it was an old flapper ball in a toilet that had gone bad and had chemicals and stuff on it. So for the price of $4, I replaced and saved the lodge some money. And so that's why I'm interested in these programs. And we've talked about this. Some of our water systems are 100 years old, Can you imagine what kind of things we could replace and save water in our own City of Globe systems? So all I'm saying is, Paul, look at me again, sir. Thank you. And let's tie in with this program, sir. I'll be watching you,
Oh, no, we'll,
okay?
you know,
Okay.
we're
I
gonna,
like teasing
remember, everything, voluntary reduction of water usage, water conservation
Yes,
is something we can all buy in on.
yes, yes. Thank you, sir.
One thing I want to mention to that point is when we have a program like this that has many different partners, so I understand that we serve a small part of Globe, but for the most part, you guys are your own municipal water provider. One of the things that Amelia and I have to do is balance those resources, right? So things like the toilet rebate program, you have to be an Arizona Water Company customer to apply for that. So one of the things we do with Melissa and Connie is try to make it as equitable as possible. So for example, the conservation kit program, although we can apply that to our customers, we know of other resources where if someone that wasn't our customer but wanted a kit, we can provide them resources and point them in the right direction so they could still get a kit without having to be one of our customers. And that's one of the sensitivities we have about content posting. So we want to make sure that it feels equitable and that every customer gets equal opportunity to the things available. On the flip side of that, you guys are going to get AMI, which is something that our customers won't have, which I think is a huge benefit. And so it is a balancing act of how do we communicate that to our customers and make it as easy as possible for anyone accessing this information to understand where they fit in. One of the things that Amelia built for the landing page is a map that shows people, you can plug in your address and see who is your water utility, and then point people to those resources so that we can provide clarity and really get people in the right direction and hopefully minimize frustration so that someone doesn't go into the toilet rebate program thinking that they can apply for it if they're not our customer. So that is something that we try to manage, and I appreciate that you brought that up. Yeah, tying in and finding that balance. We'll chat with you, Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
I just wanted to comment that on your Facebook introduction, Mr. Rios did a pretty good job of presenting his position. So I was pretty impressed.
Thank you. You saw the video?
Yeah.
He's a natural.
Yeah, it was well put together. It's not, they made me look good.
Well, and
It's a wonder what camera people can do.
we have to give a shout out to our digital marketing team. We outsource that. It's an organization called Blossom Digital Marketing. If you like any of the videos, if you like the landing page, they do all of that. And they're incredible to work with. So shout out to them.
It was very good.
All right.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, look it up. From the ground up. No, really,
Yeah, from the ground up, it's
it
good.
talks, I mean, it highlights the communities, Miami, Globe, Winkleman. It's really integrated. This is not just an Arizona water thing. It's a partnership. And I think, this is not the first time that Arizona Water has done this first time in this community, but all the other communities, Reluca and her team have put these demand management programs together that fit that fabric of that community. And it's equally going to happen here as well. So I really encourage all of you to get engaged in this. It's all on social media. You can interact. We just want to make this interaction, make it clean, and make it where we're talking about one common goal, which is water conservation. And we're all in this world now about conservation all over the Western United States. So I really encourage everybody to really engage in this and be a part of it, be a part of this entire movement. And I want to thank Reluca and Amelia again. It's a pleasure working with you. You make things so easy for me. And so thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, girls.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Nice presentation. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very well.
Okay, next on the agenda is the consent calendar. Matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion and one vote. Public hearing items are designated with an asterisk. Prior to consideration of the consent agenda, the mayor will ask whether any member of the public wishes to remove a public hearing item for separate consideration. Members of the council and/or staff may remove any item for separate consideration. Item A, consideration of waivers of section 2-4-10A prior discussion rule to allow action on the balance of the consent agenda. Accounts payable, $454,070.73. Item 2, consideration of approval of council minutes. Item B, consideration of the January 28, 2026 meeting minutes.
Mr. Mayor, if there are no other comments or questions, I motion that we approve the consent agenda as read.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstaining? Motion passes.
Mr. Vice Mayor,
Sir.
just a quick request. We have guests in the audience from Walmart. And so we were asking if in new business, if we could adjust the agenda order to start with D and then we'll go back to A. So,
We're gonna start with item D.
yeah, so we would start with 5D and then go back to the normal order.
Okay. I'm good with that. Are you guys good with that?
Yep.
Okay. So on to new business. We'll start with item D. Discussion and consideration to accept grant award number GO-26-57-05083 from the Spark Good Local Walmart Grant in the amount of $2,500 received through account number 20-42-08120 Walmart PD grant, which will be utilized to help fund the annual Glow Police Rodeo, and request to waive section 2-4-10A prior discussion rule. Officer Verdugo on Chief Walters.
Hi, Vice Mayor and Council. Good evening. If I can have Sergeant Cochran and Officer Verdugo join me, along with some special guests tonight, the manager from Walmart, Damian, and the general manager, Erica, could come down to the podium, please. I wanted to take a moment and talk about the partnership that we've had with the Walmart here locally since I've been here. Officer Verdugo had reached out years ago and started a bike rodeo for bike safety education for our kids in our community. And it has grown every single year, and it has been because of the partnership with Walmart. Their generous donation to our cause has enabled us to purchase bicycles and raffle them off to the kids that attend the bike rodeo year after year, along with some significant bike education and safety training that Officer Verdugo has led the charge this entire time. This is on the heels of coming on to our next bike rodeo that's going to be this Saturday at the hospital, and I'll let Officer Verdugo come up and talk about it. But I wanted to personally thank Erica and the general and the manager for their continued support to the Globe Police Department and the City of Globe Youth. So thank you very much.
I came up with this idea because I didn't see a lot of kids in bicycles in town. And I get why. It's a lot of hills, it's hard to go up and down, but when they get down, it's the reward after you climb the hill. You get to go downhill and and then back up. So it keeps them active. So the way the program's going to work, or what we do is we do a little obstacle course, do stop signs, yield signs, how to do crosswalk, talk to the kids about safety and how to maneuver the streets here in town. with the hills. Once they complete that obstacle course, they get a raffle ticket. With the grant from Walmart, we buy a bunch of bikes, and then they get to pick a bike that they want to participate in, or try to get a raffle, or try to get win a bike with the raffle. So they put that ticket on whatever bike they want to win, essentially. So, and we did get about 100 helmets donated to us. Who donated our helmets? The hospital donated about 100 helmets as well. So before they complete, we size them, make sure they wear it appropriately or properly before, and then so everybody gets a helmet. We have 100 helmets, but we have enough to cover obviously the bikes. You have to complete that obstacle course. You get a raffle ticket, you put it on your bike that you want to win, and then the event starts at 10. It ends at 2, but at 1 o'clock we do our raffle, and you must be present to win. So we invite the community to come out, enjoy this event. It is in conjunction with the hospital's health and safety fair. So there's other stuff happening at the hospital as well. And then we just add our bike rodeo to the event. So I can't thank Walmart enough. Damian, I think now avoids me, and he knows, he sees me coming, and he's like, no, tell him I'm busy, because I'm probably gonna come ask for money. I told him today, I was like, hey, sometimes I just want to say hi, man.
Courtesy call.
Officer Verdugo's coming. So I just love the support from the community, the support from the council. I just want to say thank you.
Support from the chief.
And the chief. So I wouldn't have a job if it wasn't the chief. I do want to say I've been here a long time now, well, 8 years, and it is because of the chief. So I planned to be, when I got here, I was going to be here a year, 2 years, and then go somewhere to the valley. And then he shows up, makes the department great, and then now I'm here 8 years later.
Very good. Thank you.
So, I love you guys. Thank you. Love you, Chief.
Thank you, council, for the continued support, and thank you, Walmart, for supporting our cause and educating our kids and giving back to the community. Any questions?
Do we have any questions?
No, I'll just, if I could make a
Go
comment.
ahead.
Thank you. Chief, from the time you've come here, you have made significant changes in the department. And it's not just internal, but you have proven to be a community leader as well with your department and your officers. And I really appreciate all the work that you do for the public outreaches, engaging business communities to join, and support families, kids, advocacies, victims, all across the board. You have touched everybody's lives around here. So thank you.
Thank you for the kind words. Was the city manager listening?
Writing again.
It's in the minutes.
It's in the minutes.
Mr. Vice Mayor, members of the council, it's always good to see our business community working so closely with the city and law enforcement. We really appreciate Walmart, everything they've done for us.
Yes, thank you,
Yeah,
Walmart.
I'd like to thank Walmart too, and the PD. It's good to see them working together.
Sure.
Chairman,
We'll try to be there.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the. Oh, they're gonna do pictures first? Okay.
Yeah.
You want?
Can you see me?
All right. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it.
I think we still need a vote.
Yes.
Yeah,
we're coming
Mike's
up.
gonna make it.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion, we approve grant award number GO 26570508 from the Walmart Spark Grant in the amount of $2,500 received through account number 2042-08120 and request a waive of section 2-4-10A prior discussion rule.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstaining? Motion passes. That was pretty light, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah,
You're getting better.
Wait till the next motion. Okay, next on the agenda is 5A. This is a fiscal year 2026-2027 initial budget presentation to review and receive council direction on budget inclusions. Linda?
Good evening, Vice Mayor and council members. Appreciate your time tonight. This is our initial budget presentation for fiscal year 26-27. Next slide. This is our tentative budget calendar. Our possible adoption of the tentative budget, it would be a special meeting to be called Tuesday, May 19th, and then Wednesday, May 27th, and Wednesday, June 3rd. That tentative budget, an AG Schedule A and B, and notice of public hearing for June 23rd of 2026 for the final budget will be published in the Arizona Silver Belt and posted tentative budget on the city website at the same time. Tuesday, June 23rd, that is the public hearing in which the fiscal year 26-27 final budget tax levy then convene into a special meeting for the adoption of the final budget. The next day, Wednesday the 24th, we will post that final budget on the city website. And then Tuesday, July 14th, we will adopt, the council will adopt the property tax levy 14 days after the adoption of the budget. And Monday, August 17th, this is the third Monday in August, this is the deadline for the tax levy adoption.
And Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council, just a quick note. Every year we must adopt the property tax levy, but as always, we have committed to holding the property taxes stable other than new construction. So that's the date we'll adopt that, but our intentions is for no increase in property tax.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Next, we'll be hearing from Tina Allen. We'll be going over our revenue projections, a revenue update, and the next fiscal year revenue projections. Tina, are you on?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Can you folks? Okay, I wanted to make sure you could hear me. I'd like to thank you, Vice Mayor and members of council, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you for letting me do it via Zoom, because in case you have any soft tomatoes or raw eggs, this is a good time not to be in the building with you. That's because, as you are aware, it has been a rough year in regarding Globe's revenues. The flood has truly jeopardized the city's revenue stream. That wasn't a pun intended when I wrote it, but that is what the fact is that the city's revenues have been impacted by the flood. And on top of that, this was 25-26 was the first fiscal year where I was a little bit more optimistic in the revenue forecast than I was in 24 and 25. So I've been cautioned a little bit by that. Currently, the city's sales tax revenue projections are about $875,000 below the budget we had. So when I forecast what's been received through March and what we think we'll get in April, May, and June, if we do as well in April, May, and June as we did last year, that would be $875,000 below the budget we set for revenues for this year. It's a real hit. Some other revenues also did not perform as expected. Some inmate reimbursements, some court fees, some grant revenues, and the state shared sales tax is down. As you're aware, a little bit of that is from Santan Valley, but the vehicle license tax continues to grow, so that's offset some of that. Again, because of the flood, other revenues were down, like the museum, business license fees, some of the Southwest gas revenues and franchise fees were down. And then finally, due to some cash flow needs, we anticipate that the interest revenues will also be down as well. So overall, besides the sales tax revenues, the forecasted revenues for fiscal year '26 are about $1 million below the budget. There is some good news, however. After the completion of the '24 audit, we did have some one-time funding pickup. So our beginning fund balance this year was actually higher than my original projection by about $462,000. So while this doesn't help necessarily with operational costs, it does help to replenish some of the one-time expenditures that you have had this year, particularly due to the flood as well, some of the matching funds that you've had to expend. So there is some good news about that one-time revenues. Going forward, looking at the next fiscal year, we are going to try and leave the city's sales tax flat at this year's current budget. And while that still feels like a little bit of a stretch, what we're trying to say is that we hope in '27 to get back to what we thought would happen in '26. So we are not growing the revenue budget in sales tax at all, but we are going to say, we think we can at least catch up with what we had planned for this year, because things are coming back. The businesses, you know, when Paul has shared that, you know, most of the businesses are back open, so we are optimistic that we can still get back to our current year revenue budget.
And then Tina,
We budgeted all the state shared revenues.
Tina?
And the BLT tax at the recommendation from the League of Cities and Towns, and that still is actually an improvement of about $80,000 over the current budget. Again, mostly being offset by vehicle license tax, as well as the urban revenue sharing is growing a little. We have reduced interest revenues again for next year, and some of the other revenues that I was talking about have been right-sized based on this year. So next year's general fund operational revenue budget is still gonna be about $340,000 less than what the current year's revenue budget is. Pat, who I work with, is still, and I are both looking at the timing of some of the revenues. In the next few weeks, we will continue to see if anything is under forecasted, but conservatively, the message is we're gonna need to do more with less. Finally, regarding next year, the best news is that the council's, your decision 10 years ago to buy down your PSPRS debt obligation has really paid off. There was a drastic reduction in the rates for the retirement for police and fire, and that saved over $300,000 in retirement costs for FY27. So if that had not occurred, there would be just a really even larger gap. So that's the story mostly on the general fund revenues. There are some non-general fund revenues. I just want to touch on the fact that water and sewer are taking on additional debt, again, in part due to the flood. And we do need to do a 5-year forecast, and it will be done to look at their operational obligations. And the other good news for non-general funds is that several one-time projects still are fully funded. The Jesse Hayes Sidewalk Project is moving forward. The ADOT Sidewalk Projects, the Army Corps 595 Waterline Project to the fairgrounds. And there are fund balances in HERF and the road tax to begin work on some capital projects and to fund some of the matches that we need. So that's kind of a very quick summary of the current year's forecast and what we're planning for the FY27 revenue budget.
and Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council, to Tina and to Linda also, these revenue projections that Tina is talking about is, we are looking at what we spent, and then what we revenue, what we collected, and then what we project going in. And so when Tina talks up and down, she's talking about the projections. So sales tax, we're saying, okay, this is what we think we will collect in the next budget cycle. Sales tax rate stays static. That is fixed and not changing. It just, where do we think we're gonna come out in our collections at the rate that we have, and so on and so forth with all of these. So this is, once we get all of these numbers, we go conservative, and then we have a baseline of revenue. From that revenue, we are required to have a balanced budget, and so our expenditures must stay within the framework of the revenue that is being told to you right now. So these revenue projections are the starting point, but they're so critical because they are what we have available to us to budget for the next year.
Right.
for those watching.
So that being said, these are the budget line items that we have currently baked into the working draft of the budget that we plan to bring to council for consideration. First is the annual 2.5 merit raises. This is something that we can't put to the side or put on pause at all. Our people are our most valuable asset at this time, at all times. Next is the Copper Mountain Transit Program, and at $73,000. Third is the annual DC lobbying meetings that mayor and 2 council members make each year to the various federal agencies, and those have been very successful. That has brought millions of dollars back into our community to complete these projects. And in doing so, we work with Nexus Consulting, Bob and Anna and Tracy. They are our federal lobbyists that make all of these connections happen, and very, very great investment on the city council's part. And then, of course, the Citizens Academy. This has really been a fantastic incubator for people to come and be council members and members of our boards and commissions. And so we would like to continue this. We did have to put it on pause because of the flood, but we are planning to pick that back up this year and resume is this our 6th class?
I believe so.
And Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council, I can't stress how important it is that we promise you that this staff will bring forward a budget that will include our traditional, what we've landed on, 2.5 annual merit raises. It is the key to our success. We are in a position where is our budget struggling? Yes, but that is something that is absolutely important. We will do what we have to do to balance the budget, but that will be included in this and what we bring forward, and we will strongly urge council to adopt that because it is so important. I just wanted to reiterate that. Thank you.
Next, these are the line items that are yet to be determined that we're bringing to council for recommendation. Is this something that council wants to continue moving forward with? The nonprofit grant. In the past, we have budgeted for that. It was a competitive process for a few years, and then one year an agency came forward and asked to be made in line item in the budget, and council had approved. This past year, it was not in our budget, and so this was something that we brought back for consideration. And that amount was $15,000. That kind of ties into the Cobra Valley Youth Club and the commitment that council has made historically. The site is provided to the club at $1 a year lease, and also we provide water, sewer, and trash. And in the past, we've also contributed $13,000. The third item is the PHI Life Flight, the community contract that we provide all residents within the city of Globe. That is $18,000. We do have in the draft budget to be brought forward the coverage for city staff, and we did get Pam chased PHI for numbers. That was something that the other provider would not give us. That was Banner, and we've had 22 flights out for service.
Wow.
And actually one city staff. And the final item, well, final for this list, is the Gila County Sheriff's Posse, the $5,000 that we provide the posse to provide additional support at special events to the city.
Mariano?
Mr. Vice Mayor, on that point, the Sheriff's Posse contribution, be sure, Paul, that we are apprised of the contribution made by the sheriff himself to that particular line item in the county budget. Please.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next, this is our benefits, our employee contribution. Our Blue Cross Blue Shield benefit cost increased by 9%. Earlier in the year, we thought we were going to be facing a nearly 30% increase, but thank you to Siegel, they were able to negotiate the price increase down to 9%. And meeting our previously stated goals, we will continue the goal of increasing the employee benefit share for dependent coverage by 2%. Okay, in front of you, you have our HMO and the PPO changes. So that you have your HMO single prior rate at $75.23. The new rate per pay period will be $82. The dollar increase you'll see is $6.77. That is a 9% increase. It is also a 9% increase for the HMO plus family. $463.43 is our prior rate. $505.15 is the new rate. Only a change of $41.72. The HMO single plus one prior rate is $312.96. New rate per pay period $357.54. That is a 14.2% increase. PPO single $69.89 prior rate. New rate per pay period $76.18. This is a 9% increase. PPO single plus one $188.22. The new rate per pay period is $220.40. $220.40. This is a 17.1% increase. And PPO family is $305.26. The new rate per pay period, $354.07. This is a 16% increase. Any questions? Next, this is our high deductible plan. This plan continues to be the least expensive premium cost for our employees in each category. The high deductible plan with the health savings plan is the, per pay period. For HD single, $58.25. And then per pay period, the savings to the HMO, $23.75. Monthly, we have $47.50, and then the annual cost is $570. The HD single plus one, $116.49. Excuse me, I should have brought my glasses. Per period savings to the HMO, $241.05, and the annual cost, $5,785.20. The HD family, $163.09 per pay period. The pay period savings in comparison to the HMO is $342.06, and annually it's $82.09.44. Per pay period savings to the HMO annually compared is $430.32 annually. For high deductible single plus one, $24.93.84, and for the high deductible family plan, the annual savings is $4,583.52. And this is the final proposal that we will be taking to our staff. Our open enrollment is May 8th, and that will be at Beshbagawa for all staff members. We'll have a morning session and an afternoon session. So Paul?
Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council, this is our, we have deadlines to get ready and lock these in for both budget and for the open enrollment. And so I would like to get just a nod of heads or a direction to move forward with these numbers from council so we can build these in the budget and get the paperwork right. We've consistently gone with our attempt to get that the 75-25 balance back to where the city pays 75% of the plus one and the family, and then we pay city pays 75. We pay I'm butchering this. The employee pays the 25%, and we're not there in all these, but we're getting closer, so we're moving them. So again, it has. We've stayed with that. It's like the 5th or 6th, 7th year we've done this. We were pretty far off. We're getting there, and these moves are representative of that desire to get back to that 75-25.
Linda, I got a question.
Yes.
So this was a 9% increase?
Yes,
And it was going to be 30%, is that
nearly
what you
30.
said?
It was.
Wow.
Yes. Siegel has done a
actually
great job.
incredible.
It is. We're very fortunate.
That's something to celebrate, really.
Yep.
Open enrollment was when?
May the 8th.
May the
May
8th?
the 8th. And we'll get that information out to council and staff members this week.
Okay. And that's up at Bash?
Yes.
And if there are no changes, you don't have to do anything, correct?
Correct.
Correct. Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Sounds good.
Anybody else?
I have nothing. So is council supportive of moving forward with this these numbers on the final proposal?
Yes, I would say so.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. And did you want to, with Jesse? See,
Oh, I'm sorry, Jesse, I keep forgetting about you.
but I look to the sky.
You're usually sitting right here by my side, buddy.
I'm sorry, I'm good with the numbers now as presented. We have another budget meeting coming up, correct, Paul?
Correct, we do.
The 21st.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 21st. Okay, I'm good with that.
Right. Thank you.
Sorry, Jesse.
I just have one comment, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Go ahead.
Paul, in our deliberations on this and with our partners, it seems to me that the folks at the League of Cities and Towns are very important to us on budgeting and legislative issues. Do they anticipate increasing their dues to us?
I have not seen any numbers yet, but I do not anticipate. I think CAG and League are staying stable. I think there's a little bit of an increase with RTAC, the rural transportation, but nothing significant coming forward.
Well, I would support any increase they may bill us because they've been so valuable to us in saving us heartache at the higher elephant in the room, so I really appreciate them.
Well, Mr. Vice Mayor and Councilman Gonzalez, I mean, we are not as involved in the legislative battles down there, but when they come and they hit our ability to fund our city services, and some of the attacks on local control, and if we have a story to tell, we go down there just as every other city, and the league does an excellent job of coordinating and and building our case and making our case to protect us from legislation that's going to impair City of Globe's ability to thrive.
Yeah, they have been great in our corner, and I support that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Vice Mayor Stapleton, council members, do you have any other questions for myself or for Tina before we let her go?
No, I have none. I think it's a
Thank
good
you. Appreciate your
presentation.
time. Thank you.
So, thank you, Tina.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you, Tina.
Okay, next on the agenda is item B, discussion and possible direction to request the City of Globe Planning and Zoning Commission to develop a text amendment to regulate the installation of wireless communication towers in the City of Globe. We have Zach Montgomery and Dana online.
And Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council, I just wanted to do a little setup as to why this presentation and why now. As you recall, we had some previous council text amendments going through the P&Z code, and we hadn't nailed down our process. There was discussions about bringing the text amendment forward, but by the time it got to council, you had not been informed and been part of that. And at that time, I made the commitment to council that any text amendment requests or any changes in the code, text amendments that P&Z would work on would begin with a recommendation by the city council so that you know what needs to be changed, why it needs to be changed, what the issues are. And so then P&Z can do their job and eventually come back to you. You're fully in the loop and you're part of the solution and understand the why that we're working on stuff. So this is the first of many you will see. And this one actually happens to relate to an issue that is on the agenda next. But Zach wants to talk to you about our new planning and zoning person about what that amendment would look like, what that code for wireless ordinance would look like for the city of Globe. So Zach, I'll stop talking and give it to you.
Thank you, Paul. Good evening, Vice Mayor, members of the council. Essentially, what a cell tower ordinance does or accomplishes for a city is it provides a uniform and comprehensive set of standards in place for the placement, construction, and maintenance of cell towers. And we currently don't have a cell tower ordinance, so we're kind of limited on what we can and can't do. And I'll touch on that in a little bit, but this also allows us to have input on the design. Do we want it to be camouflaged like a saguaro cactus in Tucson that they do with their cell towers? Some places use pine trees that actually have pine trees. So, it's a way of camouflaging that makes it not so industrial looking with the gray ugly towers of old. When I was in Cocoa Beach, Florida, I was able to work with Ron Johns, and they wanted to put a huge surfboard on the side of their 3-story building. And that ended up being the cell tower for that area. So it's pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, you had no idea it was a cell tower. And, other things that it allows us to do is protect adjacent and abutting properties. So if the cell tower falls, we have codes in place that either get an easement from that property owner to allow the tower to fall, but preferably we have the engineers design the towers so they're self-collapsing and they collapse on themselves. And another big item that it will allow us to do is have the ability to remove unused and old cell towers, which is a huge, or used to be a huge problem until cities were able to put those into ordinances and say, okay, this cell tower is sat unused for 6 months or longer. Per our codes, you need to get it taken down and removed, from the site. And so until then, a lot of these ugly towers remain forever. So with that, that's basically a brief overview of what we can do with the cell tower ordinance. Are there any questions on that?
And go ahead.
Are there height limitations?
Yes.
Okay, and that's in the code as well?
Yes, those will be established. Sometimes we'll have color codes or coordination for, brown to match the background of the hills or green or whatever. But all that'll be worked out with you guys, the Planning and Zoning Commission, and the public as necessary, so that we can all agree on something that we can move forward with.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mr. Vice Mayor and members of council, if you give direction, I think this would be a vote to recommend P&Z develop a cell tower ordinance. And since it'll come back to you, there's no need for a waive the rule or anything like that. And then, Zach, then this will end up on the agenda for P&Z, and then eventually it works its way back up for final approval by council.
That's correct. And hopefully it'll be on the May P&Z meeting agenda, since the draft is pretty much roughed out.
Comment, Mr. Vice Mayor?
Go ahead, Mariano.
We have, we're growing. Believe it or not, we're growing, and we need to stay ahead of this curve. And in the past, we've had this discussion before with staff, we have an overgrowth of telephone poles and telephone posts in the city right now. And they seem to propagate over 100 years. And so I know we're looking at ways to remove them. It's too bad we didn't have something like this in our past, where given a time limit, hey, you're not putting a sign up there, It's been 6 months, take it down.
Right.
And this is one way to help control it. So my opinion is, we're growing, it's time to get ahead of the curve, and let's do that.
Good.
That's all I have.
Vice Mayor, if I could address what Councilor Gonzalez said, this cell tower ordinance will also cover and include antennas and any other types of towers in the city. So it's not just cell towers, it'll cover everything.
Good.
So, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council, before the vote, I just wanted to explain, these are growing pains. This is one of those things that we haven't felt a need that we had to do. But now people want to come invest in our city. They're trying to put more infrastructure. Having any utility, cell tower provider, anybody that's making our city better and putting and investing money in our infrastructure is going to benefit us, both public safety, and accessibility for travelers and for our local businesses to have services equal to, if not better than, the valley. So this is a very important piece of the puzzle.
Well said.
Well, did we also want to include the landscape ordinance and bring that at the same time, or?
No, we'll do another.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to bring up landscape yet.
Okay.
One at a time.
One at a time.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go, man.
They're ready. They're like, okay, you're lucky. They have a list this long.
It's wound up.
I'm ready to go. Let's make this town look great.
Good.
So this would be a vote.
Mr. Vice Mayor, I make a motion that we send this to P and Z.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstaining? Motion passes. Do we need to waive the rules on that?
No, because it's coming back.
Okay.
Eventually, this will land back on your lap, and so there'll be a second hearing of that.
Okay.
Thank you. And Paul, did you want me to give you kind of a background on what they're about to hear, on what they can and can't?
No, too late. They voted.
No, for the upcoming code or the upcoming?
For the one coming up?
Yes.
I think we're gonna let Dana start on that one.
Okay.
But stay up there, and it's gonna be tag team,
Okay.
so.
Thank you, council.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Jesse, for making the motion. Okay, so we'll go on to item C. We're gonna have a public hearing and consideration of ordinance number 896 to apply a planned area development, PAD, zoning overlay to allow an 84-foot tall wireless communications tower in the C2 intermediate commercial zone as described in the PAD application for plus or minus 10 acres of land located at 2432 East US Highway 60, APN 206-04-007E, case number Z-26-01. Dana? Do we need to open the public hearing now or wait till
Dana,
after?
do we need to open, you wanna help us through this? Can we get Dana's up here on the screen? Or, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Vice Mayor, council members. Appreciate you hearing this item this evening. I will share a presentation, and then before we get started here, just make sure or kind of remind you of the procedures for effectively a rezone is what this is. Any zoning ordinance that the council adopts has to have a recommendation from planning, or comes with a recommendation mostly from Planning and Zoning Commission after a public hearing process, as well as public notification and other citizen review meeting, other requirements by the state in our zoning ordinance. So that said, correct, you'll hear my presentation. The applicant is also online and would like to make a presentation or discussion as well with you. And then once you have enough conversation, discussion with staff, applicant, they open up for a public hearing and hear from the members of the public on the topic. So that said, I think you can see my screen. And again, this is ordinance number 896. This would be the location of the property. It's on the Walmart site, the applicant, SBA, and I think they're working on behalf of Verizon Communications, has a lease agreement with Walmart to locate a ground enclosure and cell tower, wireless antenna at this location you see here in yellow, just to the east of the existing, I think, kind of like lawn and garden, outdoor enclosure there along Regis Road. That's the zoning ordinance to show you why this is before us. That the area in red is city property, is city jurisdiction, and is zone C2. That was part of the old 1992 annexation down to the Hospital Drive and along the highway frontage there. And the maximum building height within C2 district, very similar to a case you heard recently regarding the hospital. It has a 30-foot maximum height limitation. Now, in downtown, and just to put this in perspective for you, downtown, other areas closer to the downtown along the 60 are zone C3. And the C3 zoning designation actually allows 100-foot tall structures. And I have to believe that might partly, or be in part, because of communication towers that we have in the downtown or in that area. Because obviously there's not a huge demand or request for any many buildings over 3 stories, if at all. So anyway, that's just a little perspective, and again, to Zachary's point, need for a zoning code that's very specific to this nuanced type of use. You may see more in the future. It's below the location, and this area right here, you can see my screen, is that ground equipment enclosure, the 8-foot screen wall with view obscuring gate, surrounded with landscape, and then the pole location in the middle, 84 feet in total height there, and then we have the minimum setback. Closest that is to a property line is 108.5 feet. You see here to the side property line there. So obviously, if it were to fall, well, it's designed to collapse in place. But if it were to fall, and you don't hear about that very often, particularly in a place that doesn't have a lot of seismic activity or storms, it would stay on the property. Should something happen to it. There is on the left the enclosure with plantings. It's adjacent to again, that fencing surrounding the lawn and garden area, and then right adjacent to parking spaces, which they'll kind of revise, put a roll curb in there, or curb cut to allow for that access. They anticipate about a month visit, 1 visit per month to maintain the property and make proper maintenance. This is a co-location facility. That's something you'll see in a future ordinance as well. We encourage and would like to require co-locations. What that does is allow multiple providers, in this case I think they have up to 3 allowed, on the same tower. That ultimately limits the number of towers and that visual impact throughout the community. The number one, I think, objective of the community is to have those antennas mounted on tall structures, buildings, and integrated into that architecture somehow. They're commonly seen in church steeples, church spires, and large crosses, things like that is a very common application. And then ball field lights, any existing vertical structures. Now, in this area, not a lot of options, so applicants brought this forward. And again, this is also called a monopine, or in that stealth. As Zach mentioned, kind of the camouflage treatment of a cell tower, of a saguaro is a common one you'll see maybe down in the desert or where you have more, or on a ridge line to really hide that. In this situation, they use what they call a monopine, faux pine tree on the top. So as seen from a distance and beyond the surrounding foothills, in the immediate area, you would just see effectively a pine tree. Obviously from the US 60 and Walmart parking lot and other areas right around the and then off to the right is the antenna array. Client did provide this coverage, existing coverage exhibit, and they can speak about it a little further. Basically, the red is good service, green is less good service, and then those blue areas are lower level or poor, what they would consider poor service areas they want to serve. And we want to ask why, or to see this justification for why a cell tower is needed, and then this is the projected coverage after an installation at this location. So I'll just go back and forth with you really quick. That's the big difference. And again, applicants here to speak on that. Quickly run through photo simulations that we like to see to understand the visual impact. I'll just show you item 1, view shed 1 and view shed 4. You have all of them in your packets. There's an example or what it could look like as viewed from the east, and then there's that visual impact over by the intersection of Braggers Road. Now looking towards Walmart. So public input today, again, the rezoning, so it's required to be publicly advertised in the newspaper as well as postings on the site. We did 2 zoning signs posted on the property in Braggers Road, frontage, and then mailers to all property owners within 300 feet, and then also inviting the neighbors within 300 feet to a citizen review meeting, which was held at the site on March 25th. We did not have attendance at that meeting, and then on April 1st, the Planning and Zoning Commission heard this item, and one member from the public spoke, and it was not a neighbor of the site. So, Planning and Zoning Commission was deadlocked 2 and 2. We had an even number of members, and motions failed in either direction to provide a recommendation to City Council. So with that, staff is just reiterating staff's recommendation to City, that was provided to Planning and Zoning Commission, which is a recommendation for approval with the 7 conditions listed in the staff report. And those 7 conditions are also integrated into the ordinance itself, and largely identify and deal with some of the items, the long-term maintenance, expiration, responsibility for landscape, again, maintenance and operation within FCC standards, and so forth on the property. So they're very, I think, best practice type of list of conditions of approval being proposed. So with that, staff is recommending approval, and again, the applicant is here to speak. Be happy to respond to any questions you have.
Mr. Vice Mayor?
Yes,
Mr.
sir,
Vice Mayor,
Mariano.
Dana, the question is to you. This is Mariano. Was the school district notified?
They're one of the property owners within 300 feet.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Vice Mayor?
Jesse?
Dan, can you, just elaborate as to why an ordinance why we need an ordinance where versus, why we can't just flat out deny something like this? So I know that the FCC, they state that municipality can't just flat out deny a cell tower from coming in, but rather an ordinance as to what it looks like and things of that nature. So if you could just elaborate for the public to understand that as well.
So, Vice Mayor, Councilman Latham, as you know, it's a zoning ordinance at the council's discretion. You can approve of conditions or deny any of those zoning requests. I think you might be referring to a letter that the applicant submitted. As we understand it, that with regards to there's no conclusive evidence today of health effects and health impacts to humans. So I understand the 5G is being studied right now. However, prior 5G, yes, not solely deny an application based on, perceived health effects without any conclusive evidence. So, but beyond that, this is a zoning ordinance, so you still have the ability to approve, or deny. We would suggest that it would not be for health reasons, because we know already that, the federal government, FCC, and regulatory bodies have identified that cannot be, something that might end in a lawsuit possibly. So hopefully that helps.
That did, thank you.
Thank you, Jesse.
Is he on there? So, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of the council, Bill, are you on there? Can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Do you want, there was a nuance in the FCC requirements that you alerted us to. Bill, do you want to cover that at this point with the question about whether we have the ability to approve or deny based on health reasons for 5G?
Well, I guess if the applicant's there, it's best to get legal advice in private. Let me just outline what the issues are. Dana's correct. This is a zoning ordinance. You have wide discretion. There are cities and towns across the nation that have denied 5G based on their perceived health reasons. As a result, the FCC issued a notice about a rule in September of 2021 that in effect would preempt and prevent governments from denying, because some do. So if the majority of you want to deny it, I think you have the legal power to deny it. But what the FCC is saying is that because there are some courts that held that there are no health issues, other courts that held that there are. Right now, what I'm telling you as the city attorney, I think if the majority of you want to deny it, you can deny it for any reason. I think if some of you believe there's a health reason, I think the applicant's going to move forward. What I was going to say to the applicant, but I've talked to the lawyer who wrote the letter, is there's no preemption. Therefore, other governments have looked at it and decided it was not wise to approve it. Could the applicant add to the letter that they sent us? Now, I'm not sure the letter was dated, was citing cases that were well before the cases that are cited in the FCC notice to tell us why they believe there's no health issues. That gives you, the elected official, some protection, that you've looked out for your citizens and you've addressed health issues. Bottom line is, right now, I don't think the FCC could bar you from prohibiting this. I suspect, knowing this administration, eventually that rule will be adopted and there will be a preemption. But there's currently no preemption on the books now, meaning you have the power to approve or deny as other elected officials have done across the nation.
Bill, thank you. And just a clarification to council that G3, G4, there is a requirement, but this is a G5. But I just wanted to, Bill and I thought it was important just to let council be informed of that nuance. I think, Dana, go ahead and let's go forward with the process and let everybody speak, and then we'll take it from there.
Very good, Vice Mayor, council members. If you'd like to hear from the applicant, they are available.
Okay.
Dana, go ahead with the applicant. Is that, and they're on Zoom?
No, it's right here.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, so there are three members of this party. The actual applicant is on Zoom, my understanding.
Okay. So do we need to open the public hearing yet, or wait till after?
Dana, where does the public hearing fall in, or is there?
After discussion here and presentation.
Okay, after we hear from everybody.
Okay.
So Dana, is it okay if I speak and present?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. So my name is Shazad Mahmood. I work for Kimberly Warren. I want to thank all of the the respective members of the council for allowing us to present today on behalf of SBA Communications. Previously, as Dana stated, SBA Communications is a owner and developer of cell towers throughout the U.S. They have worked with Walmart to find a location for a cell tower where there is an area of need. And like Dana had said in his presentation, Verizon, who we actually have on this call as well, a representative from them on this call as well, to provide more feedback associated with the need for coverage and the need for coverage within the area, as shown through the propagation maps that we provided previously, and they can definitely speak to that more. But what I want to do is, because I want to speak a little bit to, and if I could share my screen, a little bit to the health effects that you all brought up. And also today, I think in person with us is our legal attorney, Michael, who will also speak, I think, after me to help clarify our position associated with the FCC. So with that, I just wanted to share one slide and what I like to present when it comes to the types of radio waves that are being emitted from these towers, and no difference between 4G and 5G. It's still a similar type of wave, but there's two types of waves. There's ionizing waves versus non-ionizing waves. Ionizing waves are waves that can affect human DNA. Examples of this are gamma rays and X-rays. This is one of the reasons why when you go get an X-ray, a nurse steps out of the room and you wear a lead overcoat when you get X-rays at the dentist. Non-ionizing waves, these are waves that do not affect human DNA. Examples of these are car radios, television, Wi-Fi access points, routers, Bluetooth headsets, cell phones, smartphones, light bulbs, wireless baby monitors, and TV remotes. Absorption of waves is proximity based. The closer you are to the antenna, the more non-ionizing energy is being absorbed. You will absorb 50% of the FCC's general public limit with your smartphone next to your ear versus less than 10% of the FCC's general public limit from the antennas when you are standing 20 feet away from that proposed tower. Further you walk away from the tower, it decreases even more. So that being said, I just wanted to add that to the presentation and provide you all with a little bit more feedback when it comes to the radio waves and such. As Dana had previously stated, we work very closely with staff on the design of the tower, on the enclosure that would surround it, on the landscaping. When it comes to the height and the type, again, getting feedback on the type of monopine, which is what we're proposing here, where all the antennas will be within the pine branches of the tower, where again, we are designing the tower from day one for multiple carriers to place their equipment onto the tower. So from day one, it's structurally capable. That basically means that new towers will not be required across the street because this tower has the structural capacity for multiple carriers. It also has the ground space for multiple carriers to place their ground equipment, as you can see here, by three different spots. We also work very closely with staff regarding landscaping to ensure that that we meet those requirements. SBA is more than willing to provide removal bonds, as we've done in the past in this common practice. When it comes to the tower and whether it would fall over, SBA designs these towers with what's called breakpoint technology. They provide the town with a signed and sealed engineered letter which states the tower will be designed so that in the event that there is a catastrophic failure in the tower, it would actually fall within itself, meaning that it'll fall within the existing compound. That being said, I do want to give Michael an opportunity to speak, and also Jason Ritter with Verizon an opportunity to speak. Is it okay? Jason, do you want to go first? Sorry, JT, I apologize.
Yep, no worries. Mike, check, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. If you wouldn't mind, could you, navigate back to those proposition maps?
Absolutely.
Yep, just wanna speak to that a little bit further. You can see here the red represents, in building. It's, optimal for receiving a signal, inside Walmart or inside adjacent commercial and residential developments. And green represents, in car. It's good for, when you're driving along Highway 60. And, the blue represents outdoors. And so you can see if you go to the proposed coverage that, it's tremendous impact. It's, all the homes, Walmart, everything surrounding will be blanketed nicely in Verizon coverage. That's when we say that there's a need here, that is one aspect we are talking about. Is we do have a high number of dropped calls in this area, specifically along Highway 60. And our systems performance folks see that, and that's how they determine that putting a site here would be beneficial for the community, not just for our customers, but for emergency services as well.
Thanks, JT.
Sure. And just, I guess, to expand on that further, there's thousands of travelers every day that take the 60 and converge at Walmart. So that was another big determining factor for us as to why we decided, hey, I think we could really stand to put another macro cell site at this location.
And then Dana, are we ready to go to, is it Michael? Yes. Dana, are we good for Michael now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
please.
So, Michael, go ahead.
Good evening, members of the council and Mr. Vice Mayor. I just want to touch on a couple of legal points, and keeping in mind I'm not the city's attorney. The city has its own attorney to provide it with legal advice, so I just want to very briefly reiterate SBA Communications' position as counsel for SBA Communications. And that is the health and safety of RF radio frequency emissions is regulated at the federal level. That's for a number of reasons. It's similar to when we board an airplane, we take a trip across the country. It's regulated federally because everyone has the same interest in safety in every municipality, in every locality across the country. It's a very technical area, and the FCC has undertaken hearings and regulations and studies and heard from many, many hundreds and thousands of hours of experts in setting the radio frequency emission standards uniform across the nation. And that also avoids having to litigate and resolve the same issue at the local level hundreds of thousands of times every time there's a cell phone tower. Now, part of the federal government preemption of that is the flip side of that is the Federal Telecommunications Act of 1996 prohibits a locality from denying or approving or considering at all the health and safety effects of RF emissions when considering a cell tower placement. And that's not because the safety isn't something that should be looked at, it's simply because the federal government has allocated that responsibility solely to itself, and it wishes to promote uniform standards across the country. So for 30 years, the federal case law has been clear on this point. I'm aware of litigation within the past year in the District of Arizona in federal court here involving another municipality that ended up denying a permit on health and safety issues. That went to litigation. That municipality ultimately realized they had no leg to stand on and entered into a settlement agreement. The other issue I wanted to touch on very briefly was something that came up at a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, because there was a suggestion by one of the commissioners that there's some rule on the minimum distance between a cell phone tower and the school. They said something about 1,000 feet or 1,500 feet. There is no federal rule, there's no state rule, there's no local rule. In fact, not only is there no rule, but these towers are commonly placed on campuses for a number of reasons, one being the capacity available for potential emergencies, sporting events, anywhere you might have large groups of people trying to make phone calls at once. In this case, we're kind of in an intermediate zone because the tower is, I believe, somewhere like 500 to 700 feet from the school, so plenty close to provide capacity, but it's not even actually on the school grounds. Thank you.
Dana, where do we, then are we to the public hearing part?
Yes, Mayor, council members, if you have any questions of the applicant, or myself, staff, please, happy to respond. Otherwise, no further questions. You can strike your gavel and open up the public hearing.
Open the public hearing. Shelley, can you read the ordinance, right? 898? Or 896?
And if I could really, Vice Mayor, if you wanted to say at this time we'll open up a public hearing and strike your gavel. And then,
Yeah, and we did open the
I already do.
public hearing, but does he need to read the entrance of the ordinance? I don't.
Oh, did we skip that at the, sorry, the onset?
Hang on, we're.
I didn't know if you wanted to do that now or after the public hearing and public comment.
You want to do it afterward?
Okay, it's up to you, Vice Mayor.
Oh, go ahead.
I found it.
Yeah. You did all that work. Let's hear it.
Vice Mayor, members of council, ordinance number 896, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Globe adopting a planned area development overlay zoning ordinance to allow an 84-foot tall wireless communications tower with ground equipment in the C2 intermediate commercial zone for more or less 10 acres of land located at 2432 East US Highway 60, APN 206-04007E in the city of Globe, county of Gila, state of Arizona. Is council pleased with that reading?
Yes. Okay, now we'll open it up to public
Yes,
comments.
I think you have one speaker card.
Actually, I have two.
Okay, I think.
So we'll start with Michael Vincent.
That was me.
Oh, that's you. Okay, now I have one. Thank you, Michael. Jacqueline Anderson.
Good evening, members of the City Council and Vice Mayor. My name is Jacqueline Anderson. I'm a resident of Globe. I am here tonight regarding the proposed installation of the 84-foot cell tower. I have provided the City Council resources for this technology, these types of technology, on January 28th and February 10th at City Council meetings. I have updated the list as of some of those referenced resources have already been made unavailable to the public. So more recently, April 1st, 2026, I attended a zoning committee meeting hearing with the proposed installation of the 84-foot cell tower to be placed, it was reportedly 600 to 700 feet from a school. At the meeting, there was some concern expressed for the proximity of the cell tower to the school. I did not hear clear information on the radiation, so I provided 1,800 microwatts per square meter from the cell tower. And while smart meters can measure microwave densities from 15,000 to 38,900 microwatts per meter squared. This was provided by the Arizona Public Service Electric. I guess there was addressed that the reception was poor or broken or disconnect, but I didn't see any statistics or percentage of that in the community at that meeting. And as I previously mentioned, children's brains and neural pathways are not fully developed until their early 20s. Children are at greater risk for adverse effects from the radiation. There was no mention of effects on technology regarding the environment, trees, insects, bees, birds, or water usage. There was no information provided regarding the costs to homeowners in the use with technology, nor the mention of increased homeowners insurance as a result, or the increased fires, or the cost of the antenna replacements to cell towers, which is typically every 5 years. In May 2025, 20 new bills were introduced to the House to be passed into law, introduced by telecom companies and corporations to provide immunity from any harm done by this technology. And I ask why there was a need for, to request immunity. And yes, I was aware that FCC regulations make it illegal for government entities to try to delay or stop cell tower installations on the basis of health risks. And telecom companies can sue the cities and states that attempt to use health concerns to impede their cell tower building plans. With all the research available, and I guess mine's kind of counter, and I did leave another list with Shelley that's updated. Anyone's welcome to take a picture of that or have Shelley's offered to make copies if they're interested. I will say a lot of the research comes from Children's Health Defense and from the National Call for Safety Technology. So I guess what concerns me is with all the research available, the telecom companies, corporations, nor municipalities have provided shielding or protection on the technology. And I've stated like numerous health conditions. I know it lowers the calcium channel ion. It disrupts that. It disrupts and lowers the serum magnesium. There's things like cataracts, and I mentioned the brain thing, and the heart conditions, and the neuro conditions, and the melatonin metabolic availability. So all of that information is available on that research. I do encourage people to do their own research and caution AI is a closed source and not an open source for information. I just ask if there's been this consideration, is there a consideration for the cost? And it seems like who benefits from this? People's health will be affected. Who will pay the cost for that? Is this progress, or is it used for surveillance, control of the grid, and eventual depopulation? As one of the symptoms from this is the sperm malformation. I guess I'll thank you for your time and consideration. And yeah, I just wonder who assumes the responsibility of this. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Were there any other cards? No.
Let me check online too and just make sure. Yeah, and I see nothing online, anything on the public.
All right. What's that? Chief Walter.
You have a comment?
Good evening, Vice Mayor and Council. Thank you for the opportunity to address some of this. In listening to the presentation tonight, it brought to light some of my past experiences and concerns. And I can't speak to the health benefits or the lack thereof for any of this, but I will tell you from an emergency services standpoint, specifically the capacity of communication is incredibly important to us. We've experienced a mass shooting, a forest fire that was devastating, a devastating flood, and things like that. And in my opinion, having been in law enforcement for 36 years, have dealt with major incidents that have a significant impact on the communication grid and stuff like that, things that we can do to improve that is always a benefit for emergency services. So that's just my take on it and my personal experience over the years on not being able to contact people, not being able to hear from people that were in trouble and things like that. So if there's something we can do within our community, just like the revamp of our entire radio system a few years ago for first responders, that helps us, but it doesn't help us communicate directly with the public. So things that we can do that. And the fact of the matter is cell phones are here to stay. And until technology changes or whatever, that's what we have to communicate with the vast majority. I doubt very few people, under the age of 20 know what a home phone is. Everybody's got cell phones. So if we can do something to improve that, I would go along with that personally. Sorry.
Thank you, Chief.
Yeah. Dana, we're gonna close the public hearing?
Yes, very good.
Jesse, does he have anything?
Well, now we can go to council discussion and action
After we close.
after you close the public hearing. And then, now, consider it closed.
We need to get something.
Okay, now we're open for discussion.
Yes.
Do we have any? You have a resolution already, that's good.
Yeah.
Council discussion?
No. We've heard this before,
So,
you wanna make a motion?
Mr. Vice Chairman, I would make a motion that we, let's see, what is that?
Dana, do you have preferred motion language for,
Yeah, you see your screen, should be recommend a motion to waive the rule and adopt ordinance number 896 to apply planned area development overlay zoning, subject to the conditions outlined in sections 4 and 5 of ordinance 896, and they're also listed in the report.
So I need to read that
you can say as read.
as read.
Okay.
Thanks, Dana.
Sorry,
Thank you.
we have a second?
Second?
So I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any nays? Any abstaining? Motion passes. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, Council.
Thank you to our guests and all the public.
Okay, next on the agenda is item E, consideration to approve resolution number 1930, demonstrating the City of Globe Council approval of the submission of Arizona 2027 Governor's Office of Highway Safety Plan, grant number GS-27-57-05084 for $10,305, and number GS-27-57-05085 for $34,861, received through account number 20-42-09012 GOHS Grants, please. If awarded, grant projects include extra traffic details and 4 speed display signs. Chief Walters, oh, sorry.
He's gonna sit this one out.
Go ahead,
Good
Chuck.
evening, Vice
Thank you.
Mayor and members of council. It's that time of year where we're putting in for the GOHS grants, and we need the signed resolution, the approved resolution to be able to compete for those grants. So the request would be the approval of the resolution.
Do you want to read resolution 1930?
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you.
Resolution number 1930, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Globe, Gila County, Arizona, pertaining to the submission of projects for consideration in Arizona's 2027 Highway Safety Plan and appointing the city's chief of police as the city's agent to represent the city's interest in processing of related grants. Is council pleased with the reading?
Yes. Do we have any discussion? Any comments?
I'd like to make a motion. I mean, this
Oh,
is,
good.
the chief and his staff, do a great job, going out looking for these grants, and they're always for good cause. Continued great work. Appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
Motion to approve resolution 1930 for the submission of Arizona's 2027 Governor's Office of Highway Safety Plan grants in the amount of $45,166 received through account 20-42-09012.
Second?
Do I have a motion and a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstaining? Motion passes. You waived the rules, right? Did you?
I'm sorry?
Did you waive the rules?
It says here, no need to waive the
No, you
rule
don't need
We don't need to?
This will come back when it's.
Oh, okay,
when it's awarded.
okay. Okay, next on the agenda is item F, consideration to approve contract number PS-2026-0119 with Siegel Consulting for the period of 3 years beginning July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2029 at a fee of $34,000 a year or $2,833.33 monthly, which is budgeted in account number 10-55-51225, General Fund Administration Consultants, and request to waive section 2-4-10A. Paul?
So, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council, Siegel Consulting has actually been with the city of Globe longer than I have. They were our healthcare consultant when I got here. I think Councilman Shipley brought them on when he was mayor, and they have been an extreme asset to us over those years. They help us navigate a very complex world of language and rules of their own. They've always worked to help negotiate down those costs that I don't think we could do on our own, and then help us manage our processes. And if there's something happens, they help us intercede on behalf. So they bring benefit to the city and save money for both the city and for employees of the city of Globe. So I would encourage council to renew their contract and keep them as our partners that have done so well.
Okay.
Mr. Vice Chair, if there's no further discussion, let's see, I gotta read the motion. I would make a motion that we approve contract PS 2029-0119 with Siegel Consulting as presented.
Second?
Do I have a motion and a second? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any nays? Any abstaining? Motion passes. That was light.
This is, do we know this guy? Wow.
You okay, Jody?
Just making sure everybody's awake out there.
Okay, item G, consideration to award contract number CS-2026-011 to Schultz Contracting LLC to replace and install a city 6-inch sewer line connection to a city 8-inch sewer main line for the amount of $29,060 with a 15% contingency of $4,359 for an amount not to exceed $33,419. Funds are to come from account number 51-80-52200, Capital Outlay Construction, and request to waive section 2-4-10A. Travis.
Hey.
Vince, thank you.
Good evening, Vice Mayor and Council. See if I remember how to do this. I haven't been up here in a while. Yeah, tonight we're asking to go to contract with Shoals. Late February, we got a phone call about a sewer overflow up there on Mesquite and Willow area by this school bus barn in that area. One of the local plumbers were on the job already. They called, asked if there was if they knew if it was our problem or a customer problem. We sent city staff out there. It was determined that it was our problem. It was a 6-inch. It says I think connection on there. It's like a feeder to one of our mains. Picks up about 8 houses up on that 6-inch that drops it down into the 8-inch. After the report came back from the plumber, he said that there was a metal pipe stuck through the main line, causing a backup. Really weird to us, so we went and did some of our own cameraing. We went out there 3 times actually to camera it, just because we weren't sure what we were looking at. We came to find out that it wasn't a pipe in the ground, but more like the connection kind of shifted somehow. We're not sure. We haven't had any construction in that area. We don't know, but instead of a full circle, it kind of looks like a crescent. We decided not to do it with city staff due to like the complexity of the project. There's a lot of utilities. There's gas, there's water, there's sewer right in the way. If you know that area, there's it's a real tight corner right there where it makes a turn to go up Mesquite. It's really tight. There's overhead power lines. The main there is at least 8 feet deep. Just equipment and, you know, operational nightmare for us. So we decided to go out to bid. We went after quotes. We ended up getting 4 quotes. One was a non-responsive. And then Shoals came back with the lowest responsible bid. Any questions?
If this gets awarded, Vince, when will this take place?
Actually, I talked to them already, and they're ready to roll because they're actually looking for projects. Their projects down in the valley are winding down. They're getting ready to jump on it soon.
Oh, really? Good.
Yeah. So probably, what's this, like the 2nd week of April? Probably by the end of the month, they'd be up here rolling on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Is it creating a problem along the line, like backing up into people's yards or houses? Or
Not yet. Well, it did during that first event. Yeah, it did. Since then, we haven't had any complaints and just kind of slowly watching it. Yeah.
I have a question.
Mr. Vice Mayor, if there's no other questions or comments, I'll make a motion.
Actually, Jesse, Freddie has a question before you make the motion.
So I'm just looking at the proposal from the contractor. Is everything gonna be replaced in like, or are there gonna be modifications to that? The T and that all the pipes come.
There will be a slight modification on it because right now it's really strange. Like it kind of makes like a U shape to come down into our main. We don't know why. So we're just gonna kind of shorten it up and yeah, just put that little 45 bend in there and get it right down into the main. Help reduce the bends and possibles. Yeah. How'd you know?
How'd you know?
I just have been around this world for a while. Just looking at the description of what they're going to do and the cost, you know, I see 20 foot of pipe, you know, another 12 foot replacing AC pipe. So it kind of leads me to believe it's not just in like they're going to do some modifications.
Yeah.
Just my educated guess.
There you go.
Okay, thank you, Jesse.
You want to make the motion, Jesse?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to approve as read, waiving section 2-4-2.
So I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any nays? Any abstaining? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vince.
It's quiet tonight. Okay, next on the agenda, action items 6A.
Jody
Save the best for last.
Yeah. Consideration.
Should've been the first one.
Consideration to approve resolution number 1929, uncollectible water debt in the amount of $6,516.91 for fiscal year 2025. Jody, or do you want to read the resolution
Thank
first?
you, Vice Mayor. Resolution number 1929, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Globe, Gila County, Arizona, providing for treatment of certain debts owed the city which have been deemed potentially uncollectible, and removing same from the records as assets of the city of Globe and providing direction for future treatment of same. Is council pleased with the reading?
Yes.
Good evening, Vice Mayor, members of council. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, but we all know that we've
We
kind
all
of gone
know.
over, we've kind of gone over
We've
this.
been down this road.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't. If there's no other comments or questions, we went over this, in a previous meeting. We already know the dollar amounts, and I think it's just time that we ratify this.
Sure.
I wanna make sure I got the right one. We're not moving this to the next meeting, are we?
No,
Oh,
this is
my
action.
apologies.
Okay, so,
This is final consideration.
okay, so that, okay, I'll just take that out then. I'll motion that we approve resolution number 1929 as read.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstaining? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work too. Okay, next on the agenda is item 7, late agenda items. Do we have any?
We have no late agenda items.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Second call to the public.
No one online, check the phone, and no one charging the podium. So we're good.
We're good? Scheduling of meetings?
Nothing to announce at this
Nothing new?
time.
Future agenda items?
I have none.
None? Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion made.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstaining? There we go. We're done.
Less than 3 hours.
Yeah.